This week on the Gray Escape, we're reinstalling the trim in the cab of the bus. Let's get started. So I failed to hit record while I was spray painting these. Sorry I don't have any footage of that, but they are just the trim pieces from the cab of the bus. And here they are. They used to be a tan color and they were really badly stained and pretty ugly. So I cleaned them off really well with some simple green and then used SEM color coat to paint them gray to match the interior of the bus. But they're all dry now. Let's install them. The walls on either side of the door when you first enter the bus were basically beyond saving. I wasn't going to paint them. They had a bunch of rust on the back, as you can see, and they were cracked in a few places. So I went to the Home Depot and bought some FRP board, and I'm just tracing the shape of the original wall onto the FRP board, and I'm going to cut it out with a box cutter.
I don't deny there's some strange evolutionary process going on, but mankind won't be destroyed. The fact that you and I are working here today is evidence of that.
Alright guys, so I just want to show you how far I got this week. Tomorrow's Monday, so it'll be a few days before I can work on the bus again. But we've got these trim pieces cut, painted gray and installed. I pulled the little floor lights through. We've got this all behind the trim, which was also painted and installed this weekend. It's being held up there while it dries. I'm gonna try to figure out how to make that a little more pretty. But it doesn't look half bad. We also put back all of this trim. The A-frame handle, painted that door panel. So, you know, we're not done yet, but it is getting there. Still have to do a little bit more over here where you can see the yellow. But it's not looking half bad. Alright, so we actually accomplished something between the rain today. As you can see, I've got all different kind of screws in there, but the original problem was that this original bus trim didn't come in far enough to cover the edge of the FRP here. So I had to get some FRP trim and put it in between. It's kind of a pain, looks a little wobbly. And part of that's probably the shape of the bus actually. But 2 drill bits later, and we have a water barrier, because on this side, I'm close up here, the water keeps getting behind the wall and into the bus. And unfortunately, it's been raining so much today, I haven't had a chance to fix it. But today, I got one side done. Definitely needs a lot of caulk and something to pretty up this outside. Now, when I took this off the bus, there was a plastic sleeve that went inside this channel here and here, and it kind of bowed outward, covering all the screw heads. So I'm hoping I can find something like that to cover up my giant mess. So that's what I'm working on today. So for today's project, I'm trying to put some sort of seal here so that the water doesn't get in, because on this side we've got water coming in behind the wall every time it rains, and I can't take the wall out now that it's in. So I tried putting back on the stock trim, which is what this piece is, but unfortunately it's not long enough on this side to actually cover the edge of this the whole way down. So I got some PVC trim. Looks like this. Alright, so I don't know if you can see that, hopefully. But the PVC will go in on this side, and the original bus trim will come in on this side. Gives me a little bit more room to play. First thing I gotta do is put the original one back on, trace a line down the side of this and cut it, make sure that it is even all the way down so that this will fit on. Let's get to it. So every screw was a struggle. But she looks good. And now water can't get behind the walls. This is the original weather stripping that came with the bus. It's in good shape, so I'm going to go ahead and reinstall it. This goes between the door and the wall to keep water from coming in between right here. So we've already got this side installed, and that will help keep the elements out of the cab. All right guys, so I think that is about it for the trim around the door. I went ahead and used some Henry's Tropical Sealant to seal the open holes where there used to be screws and no longer are. And I also went around the door with it, as you can see. It's not a very pretty job, but the Henry's Tropical isn't like regular caulking or sealant. It's a lot stickier and definitely makes a mess, but it does the job. And now I don't have to worry about the rain anymore. And the only thing I have left is to see if I can find those plastic pieces to cover all this. And I'm also gonna need to take a look at that and see if I can get a replacement for the bottom of the door. But I think that concludes this week's project. Thank you guys for watching. Catch you next week on The Gray Escape.